Welcome back to the High School Bekius program. Today we're doing Chaf Aleph Hamad Aleph Moed Katan. There are 4 main points on today's daf. First one is a list of things that a Mormon is supposed to do during Shiva, including working, bathing, anointing, having tashmish, wearing sandals, or teaching or learning Torah. However, the exception to learning and teaching Torah applies if the community really needs it, and then it's allowed to teach Torah through some middleman. A Mormon is not allowed to wear tefillin, and the machlokas is how far does that go? For 2 or 3 days. And then there's another machlokas if he's supposed to take off the tefillin if new people come in. And then we lastly have a discussion about how the first 3 days are a little bit more serious, that he's not supposed to work publicly and is not allowed to leave the house to pay shiv call to someone else. Tana Rabbana. Dvarim ilu she'agal asur behen. These are the things that a mourner is forbidden in. Isur b'malach, he's not allowed to work. Uberachitza b'sicha v'tashish hamita. He's not allowed to bathe himself. He's not allowed to anoint himself. He's not allowed to tashmish. He's not allowed to wear shoes. Also, likra, but Torah is not allowed to read things of Torah and Nevi'im and Ksuvim. Ulashanop and Mishnah is not allowed to learn Mishnayos. Over Medrash of Halacha is not learn Midrashim, not learn Halacha. Over Shas, Gemara or logic of Mishnayos. Over Agados, can learn the stories about Midrashim, about the Torah. Or Agadah, stories that Chazal have messages within. If the community needs him, he's not supposed to refrain from teaching them, if the community needs. Once Rabbi Yossi's son died, and then he decided to give shir in the base medrash because the community needed it. Rabbi Chana Idrabe Milta, once a tragedy happened to Rabbi Chana's relatives, and one of his relatives, and he was in Shiva, and yet suffered he thought he was not going to teach, because not allowed to teach Torah. Ruchania said he should go teach because the community needs him. He's thinking of getting a regular speaker to tell his divrei Torah out loud to everybody to hear. Amrulay Rav Tanya Yamin Turgaman. That's not what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to deviate from the regular practice. You're supposed to teach the Torah through an intermediary who's going to teach it to everybody else. They used to have a speaker to everybody. You teach the Torah to one person, who would go and teach it to everybody loudly. However, during Shiva, if a person needs to teach Torah because the community needs him, he's allowed to do it only through an intermediary. Exactly what is the process, how he's supposed to teach, because he can't teach himself. He's not supposed to teach to the regular speaker. So, Kihadatanya, this is the Bryce that explains, once Rabbi Yehuda's son died, he went to the Medrash, Rechanina was sitting next to him. Rabbi Yehuda whispered the divrei Torah to Rabbi Chanina, and then Rabbi Chanina and Rekavia related to the loudspeaker. Person who told it to everybody, Ishmael Turgamon, Ishmael the Rabbi, he told the whole community. The Avel is not allowed to wear tefillin for the first 3 days, according to this opinion, because those are the most 3 serious days, and therefore he's not supposed to wear tefillin those times. According to this opinion, even if new people come in, he doesn't have to worry that they're going to see him wearing tefillin and think, oh, a mourner is allowed to wear tefillin, and therefore even if new people that were not in the other days come in, he's allowed to continue wearing the tefillin beyond those 3 days. The 3rd day itself is going to be remitted as long as part of the day he did observe and not wearing the tefillin. That's the first opinion. Rabbi Shomer, the second opinion says only 2 days are the most serious days. From the second day and on, and even the second day, as long as part of the day he already didn't wear tefillin, from the second day and on, he's allowed to wear tefillin. However, new people come in, he has to take it off. Because those new people didn't know that he didn't wear tefillin already, and therefore they're going to think, and Abel is allowed to wear tefillin, and therefore he's not supposed to wear tefillin. He's supposed to take them off when new people come in. Amar Rabbanan Ma'atam and Rabbi Lazar. What's the reason Rabbi Lazar says the first 3 days are most serious? Really, the first 2 days are most serious. That we don't even say part of it counts as a day. I don't even know 2 days are most serious. The people, the Jewish people, stopped crying for Moshe. It says Yemei, plural days. In plural, the minimum is 2. Amar Rabbi, no, how do we know Rabbi Yeshua his opinion of one day being the most serious days on where till the entire complete day. That comes from the pasuk that describes the mourner having a very sad, bitter day in describing the story with Yechezkel, the first day. Rabbi Yeshua Nami Haksiv, but what did Rabbi Yeshua do with the pasuk of Rabbi Eliezer that shows us 2 days? The mourning for Moshe was very serious, and therefore they had to mourn extra, and that was a double 2-day mourning. However, usually it's 1 day. However, what did Rabbi Eliezer do with the pasuk that shows that mourning is only usually 1 day, most intensely, and therefore the tefillin is also 1 day? So he says, in terms of sadness, you're right, it's only 1 day. However, in terms of tefillin, it's 2 days. That is forbidden. Ula sounds to be lenient in both questions about this machlokas. Is it 1 day or is it 2 days? And also whether they take off tefillin for new people coming in. So he says, I follow Rabbi Eliezer putting on tefillin that I follow Rabbi Eliezer about taking off tefillin. You don't have to take off tefillin when new people come in. And I follow Rabbi Yeshua when it comes down to putting on tefillin that you're not supposed to put on tefillin the first day, but you can put on tefillin the second day after a little bit of time has passed. What about a combination of those two? Even according to Ula, who's lenient in both questions, they don't take off tefillin for new people, and you're allowed to put on tefillin on the second day. What about the second day if new people come in? Do you have to take off your tefillin or not? Because neither opinion that he was ruling like would actually be lenient in that case. Rabbi Yeshua said you have to wait 1 day, but you have to take off tefillin for new people. And Rabbi Eliezer, he was only lenient in new people from the third day and on. What would be a combination of those two? Would Ula say independently each of those factors you should be lenient because you only need to wait 1 day, and also I don't think new people makes a difference, or not? We have a brayso that said on the second day of Shiva, the person puts on tefillin but takes it off if new people come in. So you see over there that we combine the opinions according to Ula to the degree that each one's independently lenient, but when you combine them, we have to be straight because neither of them would have been lenient. So therefore, second day he puts on tefillin. However, he take it off when new people come in. Same thing, we have another brayso in the name of Yehuda ben Taim. Rav is more lenient. He says even on the second day you should put on the tefillin and should not take it off even when new people come in. We heard Rav say that the first 3 days are the most serious, and he has to turn over the bed first 3 days. Those are the most and before the regel comes away, it cancels the show. So you see the first 3 days are most important. How could he say over here that he only needs to not wear tefillin for 1 day? It seems like the first 2 days are the most important according to Rabbi Yeshua, not 3. Answer the Gemara mitzvah shani. When it comes to mitzvah activities like putting on tefillin, even though the first days are the most serious, we're more lenient when it comes to mitzvah, and therefore we restrict it only to 1 day. He can't wear tefillin, and the second day, the beginning of the day, he can't wear tefillin. When it comes to work, it's most serious during the first 3 days, and he's not allowed to work at all. Even if he needs to take tzedakah, he's not allowed to work at all. However, after the first 3 days, he's allowed to work privately. He's a poor person. A woman is allowed to spin with a spindle in her house privately. Simple activities allowed to do after the first 3 days have passed if they're very poor. A mourner is not supposed to leave his house to go even to pay Shabbat to somebody else. It's not appropriate. However, after 3 days, he's allowed to go. He doesn't go and sit by the comforters of other people. He sits by the mourners because he himself is a mourner. The words for this week are Hichi is how, and Ibalahu, they had a question.